We often think of prevention during this pandemic in terms of sanitation, but what about optimizing the immune system? Hi, my name is Candy, and I'm a clinical dietitian trained in public health as well. Today, we will take a look at how nutrition plays a role in prevention by optimizing the immune system. Phagocytes are cells that protect the body by engulfing and absorbing bacteria and other small foreign particles or cells. Phagocytosis is the process which the cells internalize foreign matter, including microbial pathogens. Here's a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition looking at the role of sugars in human neutrophilic phagocytosis. The Phagocytic Index, which is the average number of bacteria viewed within each neutrophil, was determined by microscopic examination of slides. The decrease in Phagocytic Index was rapid following the ingestions of simple carbohydrates. The greatest effects occur between 1 and 2 hours postprandial, but the value was significantly below the fasting control value 5 hours after feeding. The decreased Phagocytic Index was not significantly associated with the number of neutrophils. These data suggest that the function, not the number of phagocytes, were altered by ingestions of sugars. This implicates glucose and other simple carbohydrates in the control of phagocytosis and shows that the effects last for at least 5 hours. On the other hand, a fast of 36 to 60 hours significantly increased the phagocytic index. Notice the difference between simple carbs and complex carbs. Not all carbs are bad, but we have been paying attention to the simple carbs because it takes up more than 50% of the dry goods in the grocery store, such as white rice, white flour, sugar, pasta, pastries, chips, cookies, crackers, cakes, chocolates, and candies. Take a look at the correlations between sugar intake and phagocytosis. Notice the number of bacteria killed in 30 minutes diminished as the teaspoon of sugar intake increased. When there is zero intake of sugar, about 14 bacteria was destroyed. After 12 teaspoons of sugar intake, the number of bacteria killed in 30 minutes decreased from 14 to 5.5, and when 24 teaspoons of sugar was ingested, only 1 bacteria was destroyed. Clearly, this shows the immune response to the foreign matter, including bacteria or other microbial pathogens, is weakened in the presence of sugar. If you have someone drink a glass of water with 3 tablespoons of sugar in it, which is like drinking a can of soda, there is a big spike of blood sugar within the first hour. Our body goes into panic mode, release so much insulin that is beyond what is required, and by the second hour, hypoglycemia or low blood sugar counts occur, dropping the blood sugar below where they were at fasting. In response, the body released fats into our bloodstream as if we were starving because our blood sugar just dropped so suddenly. Now you may be wondering, what about fruit? Doesn't fruit have sugar? Let's take a look at blended berries. They have sugar of their own in them, in fact an additional tablespoon of sugar worth, so the blood sugar spike should be worse, right? No, not only no additional blood sugar spike despite the extra tablespoon of sugar, here's the surprising part, no hypoglycemic dip afterwards. Blood sugar just went up and down without overshoots and without the surge of fats into the blood. Some suspect this difference may be attributed to the semi-solid consistency of the berry meals, which may have decreased the rate of stomach emptying comparing this guzzling sugar water. In addition, the soluble fiber in berries have gelling effects in our intestines that slows the release of sugars. To find out if it was the fiber, the experiment was repeated with berry juice that has all the sugar but none of the fiber. Clearly, the difference was observed early on in the blood sugar insulin response. In the 15-minute mark, the blood sugar spike was significantly reduced by the berry meals but not by the juices, but the rest of the beneficial response were almost the same between the juice and the whole fruit, suggesting that fiber may be just a part of it. It turns out there are phytonutrients in fruit that inhibits the transportation of sugars through the intestinal walls into our bloodstream. Phytonutrients in foods such as fruits, green leafy vegetables, beans, nuts and seeds, herbs and spices can block some of the uptake of sugar by the cells lining of our intestines. This brings us to the importance of phytonutrients, which is that natural chemicals or compounds produced by plants and keeps the plants healthy, which can in turn keeps us healthy. Now, blueberries has gained the reputation of high antioxidants, but they can be expensive or not readily available in many parts of the world, so is there an alternative? Well, the good news is the same God who creates blueberries also creates mulberries grown in tropical area, and moringa or malunggay and all the other greens, herbs, and plants on the planet. So focus on eating colorful plants wherever they are accessible, and you will have that assurance that you're enriching your cells and organs' vitality. Additionally, the fiber in plants help to feed the microbiome in our gut. Our gut produces 3/4 of a neurotransmitter, contains 10 times more cells than the rest of the body combines, and contains 2/3 of the immune tissues, which means an unhealthy gut leads to impaired immune functions, making us more prone to infections. The moment we stop eating fresh fruits and vegetables, our gut bacteria begin to die. When a group of mice being fed with standard food and their light and dark cycle was changed, the microbiome didn't change. But when these same mice being fed with high-fat, high-sugar diet in conjunction with phase shifts of day and night cycle, they have significant altered microbiota. So eating a meal like this, and this, containing high fats and sugar can alter gut health, which can influence the immune response in a negative way. So aim for food that contains fiber, phytonutrients, and food that is naturally low in fats. But don't forget to avoid sugar, artificial sweeteners, cholesterol, and fats, and anything processed. The awesome news is food that meets this criteria are accessible worldwide because they are food out of the ground. In the first part of Genesis chapter 2, verse 9, the Bible says, "And out of the ground the Lord made every tree grow, and that is pleasant to the sight and good for food."